Hi, welcome to this week's Dragonblade Authors Unplugged. I'm so excited to talk to you this week. We've got Alexa Aston with us and Sofie Darling. And now my desk Alexa is going to say something probably because she does every time I say Alexa's name. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad you took the time to talk this week.
Thanks
happy
for
to be here.
Great. So we have 3 releases. We've got Alexa's book came out first, and then we have Sofie's book, and Emily Murdoch has the continuing stream of Christmas stories comes out. But Alexa, why don't we start with you? You actually have 2 releases this week. You've got
today.
I know, and
Go figure.
you
did the positive spin. It was a better day. Woo!
I said to Sean, I need the cover for Alexa's book. She's like, which book? But the first one we should probably talk about is Men for the Marquess, and that is the 7th and last book in the Second Sons of London series.
It is. It's one
love
of the
the setup for this series.
But at the same time, it is always so bittersweet when you finish a series. You have grown so close to the people, and my books, they're all standalones. You could pick up book 4, book 7, it doesn't matter. But if you read them in order, previous characters from other books appear in them. And so by the time you get to book 7, it's like, I'm almost weeping because it's my last opportunity with these people. And so I tried in the epilogue to bring in every couple.
Good. Yay.
You can't really do that with a series that long. The couple from book 5, they had 2 little boys, which readers fell in love with, Freddie and Charlie. They play a pretty prominent role in this book 7 because the heroine Julia is the governess of these 2. And the hero comes to work on the estate of the Duke in book 5. And so we get a lot more Freddie and Charlie stuff. And another couple comes in and, makes a few little appearances. But by the end of the book, I've placed it a few years in the future so that they have come into society. They've been through several seasons, and they are part of this core group of people who make up the Second Sons of London and their wives.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. And your hero, so the setup is your hero lost 2 of his fingers.
There was his gun misfired, and I hate to say it, they blew off. So he can't hold a gun anymore, and he almost feels like his identity has been stripped from him. If you can't hold a gun, I can't be a leader. I can't do what I'm asking my own men to do. Yeah. And so he goes on and sells out and goes to an estate of a friend and is working there and learning about the state of management and everything. When, lo and behold, he winds up with a title.
A title just happens to appear.
You have to really be creative. I'm almost at about 70 books now. And so, coming up with how these guys get their titles, you've got to kill people off and get people out of the way and, find all kinds of interesting situations. I mean, I've had people murdered. I've had them die in carriage accidents. They drowned, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, he does become a marquis. And so he's afraid that, they've had this budding romance, and all of a sudden he's someone very different. And she does not have a high opinion of polite society. And so
because her brother he's not a nice man.
No, he's not. He pretty much kicked her out. He's the half brother, and he doesn't look upon her as family. And being the man with the title, he's got all of the power. And so, she served as a companion and a governess. She's pretty much made her way through the world on her own. And so her opinion of the ton is very poor. And so all of a sudden here, he's one of the leading members of it. And he needs to convince her, we can still make it. It's still about us. So
that's such an interesting idea, that shift in the middle from who you thought you were to somebody else, with losing his commission, and then also the shift to getting a title and figuring out how the love match is going to work. So
yeah. Well, in this time in England, you're known by your title. That's everything. And so it's, he goes through, several changes and all, and just having to learn how to write again, things like that we just take for granted as adults. I know that I injured my wrist once, and it was my dominant hand, and it was like, I can't even sign my name. One of those I sit there and I practice, and it looks like a 5-year-old, trying to play with cursive handwriting. So,
Oh, well, it sounds like so much fun, and I'm sorry that we're losing the series, but I'm glad that we get to see everybody again.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it when we get to revisit. So that's a good thing. And then the other book that you had coming, or that you had come out, is I'm going to say it wrong.
What was it?
Very historical holiday collection. Got
Say
all the
that
words
last
in
one.
the right order. Had all the words in my head. Was not sure I was going to get them all lined up. A very
Yeah.
historical holiday collection, and that's 4 holiday novellas.
It
Is that right?
is. It's from the last 4 Christmases that I've contributed to whatever Dragonblade has put out that Christmas. And it's kind of an amalgamation of things. There's 2 St. Clair novels in there with Luke and Caroline. And then there's one from My Soldiers and Soulmates Regency series. And there's another one from the Knights of Honor, which is a medieval series of 10 books. And so, it's fun to be able to go back after you think you have finished writing a series and all of a sudden to be given these opportunities. Hey, do you want to contribute to this holiday collection, or do you want to write a novella about, this or that? And so it was very much fun in all 4 of these instances to revisit these much beloved characters and to just be able to write for them, now that all of the trauma is over and they're living their happily ever after. And it's just icing on the cake.
You just get to peek in and see the good stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And that's it's a great way to get them all together while they're as a box set.
Oh yeah, just 99 cents.
So,
Yeah.
Like, don't even have to think about that one. And Sofie, you have the 3rd book in the Windermere's in Love series that comes out this week, and that's Miss Windermere Woos a Highlander. And when you look at her on the cover, you're pretty sure she's going to woo. Like,
it's like she's pretty saucy on the cover.
It's a good cover.
It like really is a good cover. And that's part of the Dragonblade Flame line too, so we can count on some extra saucy sauce. So.
It is. It's pretty spicy. I think that some reviewers have said this is maybe the spiciest so far of the 3 that are out, and maybe I can even outdo myself with the 4th one. I don't know, but we'll see.
Go for it.
Natalie and I always look for the higher teapot ratings for the.
Yes. Yeah, that's Juliet on the cover, and she's had a crush on Rory since she can almost like remember. He came home from Eton with her older cousin years ago, and she's had a secret crush on him, and she's never let anyone know. And there's this like moment that happens. This happened in book 1 actually, but they're in an olive grove, and she comes out of the olive grove and she's very upset. And the heroine of book 1 just said, are you okay? And Juliet said, I'm fine. And she stalks off. So this book opens with that scene. That's the prologue. And you see what happened in the woods with Juliet and Rory. And he gets really close to her, and he like touches her face, and he picks like a dandelion off her cheek and says, you know what you look like. And she has all these scenarios in her mind, like, oh, like your dream woman sort of thing.
Something good.
And he says that she looks like Miss Dalhousie, which is the woman who rejected his marriage proposal like last year. And so Juliet gets really ticked off about the whole thing because she thought he was finally going to declare himself. And so she just decides that he can jump off Ben Nevis. And she just kind of goes her own way. And so then the book opens a couple of years later, and they're in Scotland. And Rory discovers that Juliet's a poet, kind of a secret poet when he finds her notebook. And when he's asking her about her poetry, she kind of realizes that, oh, well, maybe he still wants to get together with Miss Dalhousie. And maybe if he did, I could get rid of this crush that I have on him. So she says that she will write a poem that he can give to Miss Dalhousie to woo her. And so Rory agrees, but what Juliet doesn't know is that Rory doesn't have any interest in Miss Dalhousie anymore. He's interested in Juliet. So he uses the whole poem writing process to get closer to Juliet through the book. So it's kind of a Cyrano, kind of Shakespeare kind of references. So it's kind of fun. Yeah.
Oh, fun. It sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's the third book. And then we have one more that comes after this one.
Yes. So that one is in January, and that's Lady Delilah Dares a Duke. And those characters have, the Duke of Ravensworth and Lady Delilah have been set up through the whole series as well to kind of see what's going on with them. And yeah, you kind of know what Delilah's up to by the end of the third book. And so it kind of, it jumps off.
Oh, well, it sounds like so much fun. And I love the, I was joking about Natalie and I doing the tea kettle thing, but I really do love the Dragonblade Flame line. It's fun, and they're spicy and fast, and it's like,
that's what I've enjoyed about the series is it is spicy, but this series has been so light and rompy. That was just kind of my whole motivation. The series that I'd written before is very emotional, and I love that series, and I haven't finished it yet, but I love that. But I just really wanted to do something completely different.
it's fun to play sometimes.
Yep, exactly.
Change of pace is good because then you come back to the other and you're just fresh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm ready to actually. My next series that I'm writing next year is more like, more of that deep emotion that I think I tend towards, but I needed this break. So it's been
Palate
good.
cleanser.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason we do things in courses. So you started talking about the next series you're doing next year. What's coming up for both of you? Your book finishes in just a couple months, and then you've got a new series.
I do. It's with Dragonblade's sister publisher. So
okay. It's an OHB book.
It's an OHB book. Yeah.
So you're both OHB writers.
We are. Yeah.
So one of the lovely things about Dragonblade and OHB is that there's such the women who run the companies, Catherine and Tanya, are just brilliant and lovely. And it is absolutely a rising tide lifts all boats kind of situation, because it's a joy to know about both of them, because they support their authors so incredibly well, which is a lovely thing. Awesome. So do you have anything, are you in the Duke of Windsor collection?
I'm not, no. I did the Get Your Duke On collection.
Oh yeah, the summer one.
Which we were both in that.
Yeah, the summer one.
That was a fun one, being able to really the summer song and then trying to build, your story around that summer song. I had picked Grease because we loved all of those songs from Grease when my daughter was young. And so that was a fun thing to write.
Yeah, that was fun. I did Vacation by the Go-Go's.
Oh, cool. There was another one of those ones where I ended up singing along in my head, because people would talk about the songs that was there at the, and in that vein, I've been doing the 12 Days of Christmas song on and on and on for weeks now because of Emily's books. And she's got another one that releases this week, the Six Geese of Lang. I have to do it in my head before I say it to make sure I get everything in the right order.
What an amazing series. What an idea. She's just
it's so clever. It really is. I don't know how she's got all of the moving parts that are hooking together, but they are. It's beautifully done.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't realize until I talked to her the last time that she's got them set 3 years apart. So that they're three, they're 4 clumps of 3, or 3 clumps of 4. 3 clumps of 4.
Right. And 12 would be hard to juggle.
It would. That's a lot of that's a big cast to keep track of.
Yeah.
But those are one a week right up until Christmas. And so this week is Six Geese of Lang. And that comes out on the day that this chat airs is the day that comes out. So we are screaming towards the end of the year. The calendar that the editorial calendar that we're getting now, I'm getting my 2023 dates already, and it's like a little,
Hey, I have turned in my entire 2023 series. I'm just like,
I know, and you probably have all your release party posts scheduled too. She's like
What
such an
might be next,
overachiever.
Alexa?
I was a teacher for so long. I just love to do things early, but it was nice. I turned the whole series in on November 1st.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so, yeah, I'm really glad. It's a long series too. It's 8 books. We'll start in February and we'll end in November. So I think there's maybe 1 month that there's a break, but I think it's about every 4 to 6 weeks that we're releasing on those. That's called Suddenly a Duke. It's about guys that didn't think they were going to be a Duke,
And
but
now they simply are.
the other kind of the flip side of it is these unexpected Dukes are attracted to women whom polite society does not exactly favor. Some of them actually are ladies. They have titles. Some are just plain misses and not a part of the ton at all. But they all have an occupation. So I've got everything from musician who composes, for the harp and other instruments. I've got a milliner. I've got a girl that trains dogs, all the way down to a Bow Street runner. So it's women that just are looked upon as unsuitable. And yet these Dukes are like, hey, I'm a Duke now. Dukes do what they want, and I want her.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, fun. I love it when we get to learn about different professions, like from a more firsthand kind of thing. I love getting those little details and things.
Yeah, the historian in me, that's the stuff I love to do. And I try not to lecture to my readers, but I do try
bring
to
it on.
enough bits in. Like one of the girls is a furniture designer. And it was fascinating going back to that period and seeing, what was popular and who the big names were at that time, because especially with the Regency, starting so early in the 1800s, a lot of the influences were still that late Georgian period.
Yeah.
And then, moving forward. So like I said, I had a lot of fun, looking up training dogs at that time, because we train dogs a little differently now than they did back then. So it's just, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that is fun. I find it more, I enjoy writing characters who have occupations. I find it more difficult to write a hero or heroine who doesn't have a traditional occupation of some sort. So I always try to find something they do.
I think the readers like quirky. I think a lot of them do. I think they like the time period and they like the pretty dresses, the whole ball gowns and going to the ball and going to Gunter's and all of that. But then I think that they like if you do something a little out of the norm too. So
I agree.
Well, we talk about the third rail of a story, the conflict that pulls the story through. But I think having characters that have something that drives them is kind of the third rail of the character, the thing that makes them fully rounded people who you can care about and have opinions about, because they have something more than just, hey, those people are going to fall in love by the end of the book, I'm pretty sure. Right. I went a little bit more depth than that. So awesome. Well, that all sounds really exciting. I can't believe I can't believe you turned in your whole series, and I can't believe we're getting ready to hit 2023 already. Come on, man.
Space age.
I was doing the countdown. Thanksgiving's next week. How did that happen? It's like I can't believe Thanksgiving's next week. I thought that surely we had weeks and weeks before we got to that, but it is. So I thought maybe we could take some time this week, since I've talked to both of you about writing and stuff before, and maybe talk about what some of your favorite Thanksgiving things are to eat, or your favorite things to do. Are you Black Friday shoppers? Are you parade watchers? I know, Alexa, I know you're a football person.
Yes. But I actually twice have been to the Macy's parade in New York on Thanksgiving Day. That was a lot of fun. The first time we went, it was one of those, it's kind of a learning experience. The second time we went, it was, okay, we know how to do this. We stayed in the hotel for about an hour watching, and then we went down to the place we had picked out to watch it, and then saw what we had already seen on TV, and then everything else. Yeah, it was a lot of fun being in New York during that time, because we were also able to see the tree in Rockefeller Center,
and the windows decorated
with colors and everything. So it was a good time to visit those 2 times.
Yeah, so the city is magic around the holidays.
So what do you eat, Sofie? I mean, we're both in Texas, so I'm just curious, what do y'all do?
Well, I mean, I'm from Louisiana originally, and I came to university
Oh, wow.
here in Texas, and so I'm a big cornbread dressing girl.
With sausage?
Not with sausage, with gizzards.
Yes, you've got to have the chicken gizzards. I mean, we do the cornbread dressing here. I mean, you bake the cornbread
Yes.
muffins a few days early. They kind of have
Yes.
to be a couple of
It's
days.
a process. It's a 3-day process to make
It
it.
really is.
Because
Onion, celery.
Yes, the celery and the onions, and we do it where I bake an entire chicken, shred the chicken, and then it gets mixed in there too with all the gizzards
Oh.
and hearts and everything, with the celery and onions and everything. And one grandmother did sage, and the other one didn't do sage. So there's also the sage or no sage type cornbread dressing.
We're sage.
I grew up with sage, and my granny also put boiled eggs in hers too. Which okay, so I would really love to come to your house
anytime.
And I make a pumpkin bread that I really love. I don't think any other pumpkin bread I've had is quite like it. It's something about the spice mix is anyway. And
like a loaf bread or like a quick bread loaf kind of thing?
I like a loaf. I do loaf, but I also like to do mini muffins because those are easy to freeze, and you can just
eat a bunch of them.
Or but if you like double or triple it, you can double or triple the recipe, and then you can freeze a bunch. And then I'm still going in February, which is usually when I finish them up, which is a very sad day. And I don't let myself make them again until the next November because that's all I want to eat.
Yeah.
But I've had cornbread dressing, but I've had cornbread dressing. I've had it with sausage in it. I've had it with hard-boiled eggs, but I've never had it with shredded chicken in it. I've never had anything.
You don't even notice it. It's so fine. You just don't even notice it. Yeah. And you also put a bunch of broth in there as well because you have to get it. You don't get it quite soupy, but you get it very, very moist before you bake it.
Kind of bread pudding-esque.
Do you do green bean casserole? We do.
Green bean casserole. I'm in charge of the broccoli rice casserole this year. We're going to my husband's family, so all the daughters-in-law and everyone has different duties.
Oh, that's nice. So you can share it.
Yeah, we made all of our assignments. So my son-in-law did the turkey last year for the first time. And he loves cooking. And so this year he just stepped up again. And I had done the turkey for like 25, 30 years or something. So it was like, yes, thank you.
There's a lot of pressure with the turkey.
But I'm like you. I could just eat the sides. I mean, the turkey, it's nice. I like it, but the sides, I want the sweet potatoes and the mashed potatoes. And we have macaroni and cheese and deviled eggs.
Oh, you have macaroni and cheese?
Oh, that's a given. I don't care if it's.
We never get macaroni and cheese.
Come to my house. It's a standard.
My mother-in-law does this sweet potato casserole that has this brown sugar pecan. It's almost like a sweet potato pie without the crust, but it has this brown sugar pecan crust on top. There's no marshmallows or anything. And it's basically just all butter and sweet potato. And then you put that crust on top and you bake it, and it gets hard. So you have to tap into it.
Like a brulee kind of thing.
Yes, kind of. Yeah. It makes like sweet potato yumminess. It's delicious.
Oh. Sounds wonderful.
Okay, I've gained 5 pounds just us talking about this. I'm going to have to diet the rest of this week to get down to a weight that I can eat.
Just get yourself some soft pants. Next week is all about the soft pants.
Yes.
I'm already wearing sweatpants right now. I'm ready.
Yeah. We didn't really get fall in Texas. I mean, all of a sudden we went from very, turn your air conditioning up to I'm wearing my coat and sweatpants.
Yeah.
It's so cold.
Yeah. It has been a weird year. You're both in Texas and I'm in Virginia, and we had warm weather, and then all of a sudden the nighttime highs are in the 20s and low 30s. It's like I'm not sure how that happened, but No snow yet, though. They got snow in Kentucky, so let's see.
That's the only reason to have cold weather is snow. If there's no snow, what's the point?
You know, I
love
like it cold. I like to walk every morning, and I don't like to sweat when I walk. So I really prefer this time of year. I don't care if I have to, put my hat and gloves on and zip my coat up to my chin. I like to walk in cold weather.
I know you record when you walk. You dictate when you walk, right?
Yes.
Do you hold the phone to dictate?
Yep, right here.
So you need gloves or something to keep your hand on.
Mr. Aston bought me these really super thin gloves that you can use with smartphones. So I can swipe and do all kinds of things that,
cool.
you don't have to, pull them off and do something and, put them back on and everything. So yeah, I really do like that. But so if it gets really cold, I'll be talking with this hand and then I'll switch and put that in my pocket. And I'll go to this hand.
Put it away.
Alexa, do you dictate your books?
Well, in the morning when I'm walking, I used to plot and try to remember everything by the time I got home, and I would, leave out things and leave out dialogue. And so I just started pulling my iPhone out on just the microphone thing and just walking and talking. And by the time I get home, I can have a full chapter done.
Oh, yeah.
And then I go back and as I transcribe it, I tweak as I go. And so I'm able to move on to the next chapter. So, or plot or, do whatever I need to do. So yeah, it has made me so much more productive. It is just made me really, I've done this for about 2 years now. Last year, I was able to put out 2 5-book series with Dukes and a 5-book contemporary series and a couple of novellas. And this year it's been a 7-book series, another 5-book contempt for OHB and 1 novella.
15 books and novellas.
Yeah, I'm using my time wisely.
Wow. It's the school teacher. That's what it is.
It is.
The school teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was talking to somebody earlier today. I used to have a tread desk and I used to love that, but I couldn't write at it. So the idea that you can dictate and I could edit and do emails and graphics and any kind of admin stuff, but I couldn't write. I'd find myself stopping and the idea that you can
I couldn't sit at a desk like this and write. I mean, this is like the only time I sit at my desk when we do these little release things. I have a lazy boy rocker over in that corner of my office, and I just kick back and I sit in the lazy boy and write every day.
I have a girlfriend who does that too. She has a recliner, and that's how she does. She leans back and puts the laptop on her lap.
I would fall asleep. I wouldn't make it. I have to be a little bit uncomfortable physically.
Interesting.
Do you have a desk that you write at?
Yes. And a slightly uncomfortable chair. It's a wooden chair, and I have like just a cushion that I have on it. And I do have my sofa, and I use that for plotting a lot. And I use a Remarkable.
Do you? Oh, I've been so interested in that. I'm going to talk to you when we're done doing this stuff.
Okay. A Remarkable, it's a tablet that you can write on, and it's exactly like paper. And you can and then it will transcribe your handwriting to text. And then you email it to yourself. And then I just strip out all the formatting and just plop it into my Word document. And yeah, it's really been great because I like to write longhand. So it works out for me.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's been very cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good to hear you say that because I've had Remarkable Envy for a long time. I print when I get done with the book. I print out the whole book.
I do that
so that I can do line edits that way. And I thought it would be so nice to be able to do that on a tablet and not have to haul this Levenger stamp punch thing with me everywhere I go, and also not have to use that much paper. Yeah. So, yeah. Awesome. But do you write most of your stuff longhanded to begin with?
I do. I think I could actually do, I think I could dictate, but to do it for the first pass, like the creative part, I don't know what it is, but I just can't do it on a computer. Like I just freeze up with the keyboard and I like a blank sheet of paper, and I can just kind of have arrows, and then I'll have this over here, and then I'm kind of over here, and then it kind of comes together.
So you don't even write on lined paper. You write on blank paper?
Blank paper. Yeah,
Wow. So you just mind map everywhere. Wow. That's
I
great.
do. I do. And I write out of order. I just write whatever dialogue is inspiring me at the moment. And I love it though when it all comes together, because this dialogue that's going to be in chapter 16, it was inspired at the time I came up with it, when I was writing chapter 1, or, and I'll never be able to remember it. So I just have to do it at the time it comes to me. But the more I talk to other authors, I guess I kind of thought everybody wrote that way.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Apparently, my process is different. Yeah. It's
Hey,
very
whatever works for you.
People want to do sprints with me, and I'm like, well, we can sprint, but I won't be able to tell you my word count for a few days.
But I love the idea of not knowing, like, of having all the pieces and then putting the pieces together as you get towards the end, because one of the things I think that happens is you're 3/4, maybe 5/6 of the way through the book. And when I know everything that's going to happen, I have a hard time still going. And so if you're putting stuff together, it's a puzzle the whole way to the end. You can, like, keep your monkey mind engaged in the fitting stuff together until the end. So,
and I started using that plotter.
Line
Mm-hmm.
Z.
Yeah. And I like that, because that I can also, it works really well with my process as well, because I can just make a little card and just put it wherever I want it. So that's been good too. And it's all organized. Yeah.
That's good.
Very cool. I love hearing how everybody does it. It's interesting to see how everybody's brain works, like where the bits of the creative places come from and how they fit together again. So
I agree.
Awesome. So, ladies, we already talked about what's coming up next for you, I think. Is there anything else that you're really excited about or going on? Alexa got her finger up.
I didn't even know this was out. I mean, where was I when this happened? I'm a part of 8 Hungry Lions.
Oh, that's right. That's another box set.
I knew that we were doing this. I just didn't know it had come out. It came out 2 weeks ago. And how did I not know this? So anyway, yes, I'm one of the 8 Hungry Lion people in there. Basically, it's from, if you're familiar, readers, with our Lion's Den. And I think it's the first 8 in the series that have just
and you can get them for 99 cents.
Which, oh my gosh, that's a great price and all. And I think they're going to continue doing that and everything. But yeah, I found out mine's out today. So look at Amazon for 8 Hungry Lions.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's that, and I wasn't going to say anything. There's another Alexa box set out too. It's the pink one. Yeah, it's the pink one.
It's a beautiful cover. Basically, it's for people who have never read me before. And
it's series.
5 books, and each of them are book 1 in 5 different series. And so it's 5 complete novels for 99 cents. Yeah. So 2 are from the Regency series, and 3 are from Medieval series. And so, even if you bought it 99 cents and just read 1, I mean, hey, so I mean, it's a good introduction to me if you're not familiar with my work. Yeah.
Which segues very nicely into the thing that I say every week, which is that Dragonblade books are the very best deal on pre-order and release. They're at their very best price then. And the books are even the books that launch wide end up in Kindle Unlimited. So I don't know about you guys, but I read a lot of books in Kindle Unlimited now, because you don't have to think about it. If I'm interested, I can just say yes.
Yes, you get it, and I mean, if you don't like it, you just return it. Yeah. KU is like just a gift to readers.
I really do love it. I love reading there a lot. So I will pop the links for your books. I'll pop the links for the box sets, and I will put the links for Emily's book in the comments of the chat, so that if you haven't gotten them yet, you can grab them. You will have way more than a weekend's worth of reading. And lots and lots of stuff to stock up on. And then next week we can talk about, we're having a pirate sale coming up we can talk about that next week. We're having a pirate sale that launches on Thanksgiving Day. So
okay. But our party is after Thanksgiving, because I remember signing up. It's like the 20th.
Because we figured everybody was going to be too full to party in the beginning. So we're gonna party Cyber Monday-ish Tuesday-ish time and let that, but the sale actually starts on Thanksgiving. So we'll be posting about that on the Dragonblade page in the reader group. So you can find out all the information about it there. But ladies, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate you making time to do this. It was wonderful to have a chance to talk to you about you and about your books.
It was
Thank
fun.
you. This was fun. It was very fun.
And we'll be back here next week, same time.